Good afternoon and welcome to More M.E.T.I. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we have the Transformers Studio Series Gamerverse War for Cybertron Decepticon Soldier. We're going to be talking about him today, and I've got Sideswipe from the same series to compare and contrast to kind of let you understand what changed. Because Decepticon Soldier here, from what I'm able to understand, he's based off of the Barricade mold, which was the second figure released in this Gamerverse line. The Bumblebee, from what I understand, being the first one, was also pretty terrible, and I never managed to pick one up, and now it's $80+ Screw that nonsense. I'm not going to get an $80+ Transformer that many people stated was quite terrible. Just not going to pay that much for a Transformer that bad. So I found the Decepticon Soldier on sale, and I was like, I'm going to try my best to squeak in one more Transformer before Christmas, and maybe have another one after Christmas to talk about. I don't know, but definitely the next few weeks after Christmas, if there's nothing new, then those weeks are going to be spent me getting ready to give you top 11 videos for both top 11 Transformers of 2024 and the top 11 action figures that I reviewed for 2024. And of course, I mix the G.I. Joe Classified in with regular action figures, but maybe not this year so much because I really didn't cover many things outside of G.I. Joe when it came to action figures. I'll probably just do a separate little thing on the Golden Archive collection because I think that's the only stuff I got. I mean, I got a couple of Black Series, but I'm not really wanting to talk about them. Anyway, this video is not about that. I'll do a separate video talking about that stuff. Instead, let's do a video talking about this crazy little Decepticon. So first off, the Soldier and Sideswipe are the same size. Though the Soldier is a beefier guy. Funny enough, they both weigh about the same. And the Soldier's made out of kind of an inferior plastic, in my opinion, but Sideswipe here is made out of a better plastic. It's the shinier, glossier kind. And the Soldier's here made out of the Titan's Return plastic and the Combiner Wars plastic, mixed with the stuff we got after Siege. And, I've never been a fan of the Combiner Wars or the Titan's Return plastic. That's one of the reasons why I don't have many of those in my collection. I just don't like the feel of them. The plastic just feels nasty to me, and so I just don't mess with them very often. But I can tell whenever I come across that plastic, because one thing, that plastic is lighter. So even though it seems like the Decepticon Soldier is a bigger figure with he's wider, he's got bigger pieces on him, and Sideswipe here is a very cleaned up figure, but nuts. I just dropped the Sideswipe's gun off his back. Let's see. We don't need to worry about that gun right now. We're just going to set it over there. So that's a little bit of a comparison between them. Sideswipe and him basically weigh the same, even though he is a bigger bot. And he is still in the deluxe price point, though. So spin them around, kind of give you an idea what they are. And we're going to put Sideswipe here away. Though I do want to mention something that I just absolutely adore about this Sideswipe mold. I just love these little pegs that fold over the wheels to hold them in place and act as like, he's got epaulets on his shoulders. And I like that he has epaulets. I'm an epaulet fan, and that's cool that he has epaulets. So we're going to set him and his gun over there to talk, we're done talking about. Let's talk about this guy. So first off, joint-wise, he's lacking. He's got 90 degrees only in the elbow. He can rotate his hand 360, and his hand does wiggle around because it's on a ball joint. The shoulder assembly can allow for, I believe, 360-degree movement. So let's double-check that. Yep, except that his backpack gets in the way because, his back, we'll get to that. Okay, so next step is this head, which is really weird because it doesn't really have anything. It's just a blank mask head. And I like that for kind of a soldier, just an army builder. Nice little blank face. It's kind of cool. But at the same time, it was sad that they just didn't render more Transformers. They could have had a lot of Transformers in that game. They did have a lot of Transformers in that game, but not not as many of the named ones. They could have just come up with a lot of different names instead of them just being Decepticon soldiers. They could have they could have had some fun with it with a random name generator or something like that. But nice little hands going on there. I like how these hands are loose and not gripped into a fist. He just seems like a relaxed guy with these hands. The shoulders also allow him to move 15 degrees in the upward on the side to side kind of thing. No sort of butterfly. Well, there's a little bit of a backwards butterfly, but not really enough to write home about. Um, Take the gun off the backpack, fold that backpack up a bit better. This backpack is a pain because of and just how big and bulky it is. But we'll get to that. There's his gun. Coming down here, I know we started from the top. We never do that, but today we're doing it. He can kick up pretty far, more than a 90. Yeah, that's a lot. That is a really nice kick. He can almost kick himself in the head. On the backward slide, if you pick this back panel up, he can kick backwards at a 90. He can kick sideways at barely anything at all. And then the knee is a simple single jointed knee. And because of the clunky stuff in the rear, the knee doesn't go back as far as you may want it to. I know. And then we come down here, no ankle tilt. No ankle tilt at all. A shame. I don't know why they were just like, hey, we've been doing this one joint for a while and everyone seems to enjoy it. You know what would be awesome? If we stopped. And yeah, I don't like the fact that they seem to have stopped that. Now, did they stop it for Sideswipe right here? Let's double check that. Yeah, Sideswipe doesn't even have one. It's definitely something that I'm not happy to see more figures not having the ankle rocker. It's like, guys, we do pay more than $20 for a deluxe now. If you're going to remove a joint, then charge us less. If you're going to take a joint away, then the non-ankle rocker versions should cost us $20 or $22, not the $25. That's why I was happy I found him on sale for $17, because I'm not going to pay full price for something that doesn't have ankle rockers. If it's not to the same level of quality control that Studio Series normally is, 86 is, and in the mainline Legacy United is, just why? I do not understand the engineer's thought process there of, we're going to take away a joint. Like, why? When you've already made this guy's joints despicable because of the armor stuff. And now let's get into that armor stuff, okay? So in the time I've been doing this over the past few years, I've come across many Transformers with backpacks. And I have come across good backpacks, and I've come across bad backpacks. And what I've come to understand and learn is that a good backpack is a backpack that folds up more than you expect and makes itself really small. And we've gotten a few of those. There's some good backpacks out there. Like with 86 Prime had a good backpack. And Earthrise Prime, yeah, had a decent backpack. Like 86 Ultra Magnus has a good backpack. Heck, even like Sideswipe has got a decent backpack. And it just, when it comes to this backpack, here's my problem. This big area here, there needs to be two joints. One on each side. Like they come to a peak on either side. These little wheel well bumper things that his backpack is made of come to a peak on each side. That could have easily had you like fold these sides together or backwards, and that would have stopped this overlap on the sides. Like, that is an insane overlap. That changes the entire silhouette of this figure, and it's just too wide back there. They could have folded these sides in. They could have done that for us. It wouldn't have taken much. It would have just been like two breakaway joints, and then you just fold them together. I don't know why they decided to not do that, except maybe just cost cutting. I mean, seriously, I am not a fan of the CEO of Hasbro. That guy, I'm going to blame this on him. I'm going to blame every bad Transformer on him because, you need somebody to blame sometimes. And, might as well choose the Hasbro CEO because nobody likes that guy. I miss the old dude. And I'm so sorry he died. I loved him. He was doing so many cool things with Transformers. Now, let's go. We're done talking about this terrible backpack. Let's move down here to the feet. Yeah, they gave us hollowness in the feet. I know. You're going to give us no ankle rockers. You're going to charge us full price, and you're still going to give us hollowness in the feet. And that is just a shame. And then these things on his back legs, which don't go anywhere because they made it so big and clunky. And I have had figures in the past that had a very similar thing to like this, but it folded in half, and part of it kind of broke away and on a bar hinge folded in to the other part to make it less conspicuous. And then they didn't do that here. They just gave you this giant back armor piece and said, deal with it. And it doesn't ever want to go in where you expect it to go. And if you fold it up too bad, it messes up the knees, so you got to kind of lower it down more. But then it makes this really long foot because of the heel. So it's not really the best. And then we come over here to this clunky wheel on the corner, and this is one of those things that I hate about Transformers when they do this. This is one of those moments where I'm just like, good grief. I want things to go in spots that are made for them. This wheel doesn't have a spot made for it in robot mode. You can put the wheel like this with the flat part of the wheel well facing forwards, or you can just rotate this thing around and you can just kind of squeeze it down, and now it's in another form. It's another position, which is the correct one. There is no correct way because it's madness. It's chaos right here with the wheel. It's just straight up chaos, and now I don't even know how to change it back around. How in the world did I even get it into this position? Yeah, this wheel bothers me. It's just so large and clunky. There it goes. And it doesn't... Why? Why couldn't you have had this thing with some pre-planned things on the sides? It's just... This is a robot chassis you decided to throw vehicle parts onto. That's what it feels like. Nothing is integrated well into this robot mode. And I'm kind of happy I get to trash talk a Transformer before the end of the year. It's been too long since we've trash talked something. I think the last thing we trash talked was 86 Bumblebee, because I just wanted to trash talk it. I did not... 86 Bumblebee. That may be a lot of people's favorite figure, but it's not mine. Now, texture-wise on this, they did do us decent with the textures. I'll be straight with you on that one. They've got some really wonderful kind of robot armor textures going on for the lower foot. They put texture into the thigh. Yeah, they did that. And I will always mention it when they do it and always give them points for that because nobody ever textures the thighs, and it annoys me. And they're seeing more texturing of the thighs occurring. It makes me very, very happy. The wheels are just huge and bulky. They remind me a lot of that G.I. Joe crossover with the Bumblebee. I hated that Striker vehicle thing. The wheels were just too big. And that's kind of the same with this. Like with Ratchet, I understand it. But with this guy, it just feels like his wheels could have been the same size as Sideswipe's, and it would have been all right. He didn't need these giant wheels. But he got these giant wheels, and these giant wheels do get in the way, especially this one down here at the back. Furthermore, talking about textures, we got some neat ones on the back of the leg with the panels that are folded down. Coming up here to the chest is where the real textures shine. This is a really fun chest, and I do think that this chest would have been better if they figured out a way to implement it into the transformation instead of just covering it over with car pieces. Because this figure does feel more like a female figure with the fact that it's more of a shell former than anything else. And it's almost not a shell former. It's almost not a shell former. It's just All these clunky car kibble pieces on the back are just so large that it just takes 3 pieces to kind of make up the majority of the vehicle. That's why I'm saying this is basically a shell former. But we get some fun textures down here with his core body. We've got a little rip in his armor showcasing his abs, I guess, or something. Been cool if we had gotten a since the core of this guy is so sturdy and stuff, they could have given us an ab crunch, I think, because I mean no part of this body is used for the transformation. It's just a solid piece, and that tells me that they could have totally, been nice to us and given us some core crunch for this figure. I would have given it more. I would have given it a better points, a better score if it had core crunch to it. That's for sure. I do not like the fact this guy does not have crunch in his core. I did have him mistransformed a little bit because this big chunky backpack part's actually supposed to slip down there and plug into a spot. But it's really difficult to get that piece to slip down there and plug into that spot because of how clunky all this is. But there it goes. There we go. That's the correct way. I had him slightly wrong to complain about, but even in this way, you can see that if you can't see, the wheel wells for this back piece hang off on either side to act as little wings. And if they just had that collapsing point we were talking about, then each side of this backpack could fold up into the middle here and look really nice. It would look really nice for each of these pieces to be folded up. And I think that would make this figure so much better. It wouldn't have such a clunky backpack area. You would have thinned it out a little bit and allowed more free range of movement for the arms. But it isn't like you got much range of movement for the arms anyway. Speaking of the arms, let's go ahead and talk about the texture on the arms. We've got some decent textures here. I love the hands. I think the hands are nice. The side armor bits are cool. The wheel well, the giant wheel isn't really the coolest in the world, but I'll deal. And then we got some flat armor around the shoulder area. Overall, pretty nice. Now let's showcase the arm pulling off feature, which I'm not a fan of, but I am a fan of what you get to put in exchange because I do think this is one of the cooler things. I like it whenever you just get to plug a gun in there instead of a melee weapon or something like that. I think that's a fun gun to plug in. It's a it's a fun gun. I like it, and I think that it would be better had they given us a little more joint, a couple more joints in the elbow. You would have been able to get more range with that weapon. Now it's pretty easy to plug this arm back in, unlike the Sideswipe, which is like impossible. That Sideswipe holds his arm on real tight and steady, and I appreciate that because the original guys, including the original barricade that this guy's based on, from what I understand, they had some terrible joints in those elbows. Like the arms would just fall off sometimes, and I did not like that at all. Now, for the back here, we have a little sliver on the back of the gun, and that's going to fit into this little sliver that's on his back. I don't know why they just stopped using siege ports, but whatever. It fits. It fits well. It's good. Yeah, so my overall rating of this guy is a 6 out of 10. Actually, no. The ankle rockers really upset me, and the backpack, a 5 out of 10 for robot mode. He's middle of the road. He does the stuff. He doesn't fall over. He keeps his positions when you get him because he does have amazingly tight joints. But it's just all of this clutter on his back. And I know, and I hold the Hasbro engineers at a very high regard. And so that's why, whenever I come across things like this, I go, you were lazy this time. Because I have seen what you can do, and I have glorified the amazing things that you have managed to do with these Transformers, you wonderful engineers. And I will always point at a failing of yours because I hold you to such a high regard. I hold you to such a high standard because you've proven yourselves to deserve that high standard. So I hope that this was just your intern designing this, and this wasn't one of the main guys, because this is this is not something to be incredibly proud about. You got a transformer here, but you just you lost parts of it. And I think if you moved the gun so that it fit vertically, and then you could have folded up the gun fit vertically, then you could have folded up these two little parts of the backpack and had it a nice, neat little package there. And you could have given us ankle rockers and maybe found a way to make this long piece of plastic, which is a vehicle part, have a bar hinge inside so it could collapse into itself a bit and lessen its profile on the figure. And also given us stable connection points, like obvious places where the wheel wells are supposed to go for these lower legs, because they just kind of hang around freely and you can do whatever you want with them. And I appreciate that level of creativity in Lego. I do not appreciate that level of creativity in Transformers. I want to build a puzzle. I want to transform my puzzle box and have pieces go where they go. I don't want to have to wonder, does it go in other places? And no, I don't like it whenever I have to wonder that. So that's why he's getting that's the first time he's fallen over. That's why he's getting a 5 out of 10. I think they could do better, and I hold them to a very high regard. And because of what I've seen, because of Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, because of Studio Series 86 Ultra Magnus, because of the wonderful, because of this Sideswipe mold that you gave us. Even though it doesn't have ankle rockers either, this mold, so much cleaner, so much nicer as a deluxe than the Decepticon Soldier. And it's just a shame that these two figures feel like they're from completely different series or collections when they should feel more similar. And you went and used the wrong plastic on the Decepticon Soldier, and it's just, they don't even feel like they're from the same video game. They feel like, one is from the fall, from a completely different video game than the other. And that shouldn't be the case. I should be wondering, are these really from the same game? I shouldn't have to wonder that. And that's why this one deserves a 5. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. I know it was a bit of a downer. I'm sorry for that, but my job is to be honest with you. And I'm being honest with you today. I mean, I almost gave this thing a 4, but he holds up and his joints are tight. And that's pretty good. If it doesn't hold up and its joints aren't tight, that's when it gets a below a 5 rating, in my opinion. Because, those are just terrible things. All right, well, I've taken up enough of your wonderful time today. Thank you so much for listening to my channel, my videos. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. I know I should have mentioned that at the beginning of the video, but oh well, I always forget. I hope that you remember to like, share, and subscribe. And please leave a comment below telling me what you thought of the Warfare Cybertron video game. Did you play it when it came out? I played it. I played the crap out of it when it came out. I was good on those servers and stuff. I enjoyed it, but I did it on Xbox Live. Until next Prime, bye-bye for now.